It's about to be circling up right now as the players are beginning to be. That didn't work. But it's going to be.
No, that was a great transition.
As the players are getting ready. So here it is. The top 4 is underway. On your left, we have up and new coming Illuminator, first tournament ever, like you said, Brent. Not first major tournament ever going into the top 4 against s4iler on your right, one of the best players we had a very outstanding season 1, trying to build upon that, going all the way to the World Championship. And if you notice the shirt that s4iler is wearing, that is correct. You are seeing that is the World Championship shirt that he received from that tournament, wearing it as a bit of an intimidation factor to the opponent. What do you think about that, Mr. Brent? Are you in on the intimidation tactics?
I mean, s4iler already has such an aura, right? He's even let his hair down today. Like, you can tell he means business, and he wore the world's qualifying shirt that only the world's qualified players have. I think it's a great tactic. We'll see if Michael cares at all, though, and if there is anything to be done. Yeah, s4iler's going to say this, being on the play, because he is 9-1-1 as opposed to 9-2, will be a little helpful, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, and we see some Go-Go's. We see Grandmother Willow. It's like 3 Go-Go's in his hand. I'm assuming he's, yeah, we're mulling a big grip of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if we definitely got rid of 1 Grandmother Willow.
Yeah, he's probably trying to look for that 1 cost Grandmother Willow, 1 cost on 2, and then another 1 cost on the 3rd turn, and maybe get an early tramp. I think this, if s4iler's going to win, it's going to require the earliest possible tramp that you can get, and I think Grandmother Willow with a multitude of 1 cost characters is going to be a great way to do that. Whereas Michael is probably just looking for a standard textbook curve, a nice heavy, probably that Mulan. We didn't really discuss that Mulan earlier, but he is playing both the Mulan and the Mulan shift, so maybe find that Mulan on 1, a Diablo on 2, maybe a Cheshire Cat or potentially a Sisu on 3, and then Cheshire Cat with a boost on a later turn with that Mulan as well. So you have options. You have so many ways to engage with ready characters in Michael's deck. So I would love to see how s4iler can get over this. And if he can't, maybe Ruby Amethyst is going to be a viable pick to take to a major full-scale digital kind of tournament. We saw it have success in DLC in Melbourne, and now here it is back at it again next week, having success at the Inc. Open.
I believe also that Ruby Amethyst, I was told Michael actually had to go through 2 Blurple players to get here. Sorry to interrupt you, Luke. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just really interested to watch. Like, if he does take down s4iler here, I would like to see him like show how he's able to beat the Blurple and the Amethyst Steel decks as well. But s4iler starting off with a lady here. That's some burst lore if need be, and also strong enough not to get challenged down by some of these smaller 1-drops here, and Mulan's not enough to take it down in 1 hit.
Not right now, but if she can get to that shift, Mulan shift, I don't know if s4iler can potentially recover from a very volatile Mulan play. So I'm certain there's something that is going to be in the back of his mind at all times as we're going to play Bobby on 2, so no Willow. So that's going to be a pretty slow start for the dog player, as we do have that Under the Sea in hand already. We didn't even mention that Amber Champion Mickey is another card that s4iler can use. We saw that Scott had a little bit of success slowing down slowing down Michael in the top 16 match. So maybe that's another card that s4iler can lean on.
It is a pretty powerful card. The problem is if you play it and then they immediately Horseman and then punish you for exerting your characters because of the extra willpower you thought you had, that can be backbreaking. So it's great if they don't have it, but if they have the maximum punish, it is devastating.
And that's something you always got to be playing around as much as you can. So that's going to be on the back of s4iler's mind the entire time. So if Michael does not exert this Mulan, it will be a constant threat that the elite archer will be shifting onto and blowing out the board of s4iler.
But we're saying, I think we've said that statement at least 4 or 5 times in this broadcast so far. He's got to keep that in the back of his mind. He's got to keep that in the back of his mind. He's got to keep that in the back of his mind.
To think about.
There's a lot hanging on the back of s4iler's mind right now, and I think it's filling up so fast that's where you have to be a great player. You have to negotiate a lot of different pitfalls. It's not necessarily what your opponent has or what you have. It's what they can potentially do to you, and what threat are you willing to circumnavigate to get to the position that you want to be in. So it's a lot to worry about as we get rid of that Under the Sea.
Whoa.
With the Bobby.
Is that not one of the cards that we want to see? Why would we get rid of that?
So he's hoping to hit another one off of the Tramp when he gets it. He needs to be able to dump his hand there, so he needs to make sure he has enough Inkables and able to keep the other cards there. And say he keeps that Under the Sea, and then he draws another Under the Sea.
Yeah.
Or something like that before he gets to tramp, that could just stop him in his tracks from being able to do it.
I see what you're saying now. And on Michael's side, I do believe I saw a Lumiere, which is kind of a tough card to get around when you are implementing an under-the-sea strategy. I mean, other than Della's Moon Lullaby and the Rhino, I mean, if the Lumiere comes down, it's going to be the Diablo.
There is a Diablo that, despite Deceitful Raven, I believe, is going to be on the board on 2. A very powerful card in this particular deck. He can quest for 2, and also he can challenge very well and wear Cheshire damage quite significantly. This is a card that s4iler obviously doesn't want to see come in on curve, as Nani is going to find her way to the board. Let's see what we hit. There's that Grandmother Willow.
It's a tramp.
There is another tramp, smaller tramp.
But you're sending one of your other tramps down to the bottom of the deck
Brutal.
because you can't choose that tramp. Nani feels like a card where, sure, we want to go deep, but some of the cards that we might want, like the Tramp, Street Smart Dog, or the Under the Sea, might get caught in the crossfires.
And even that lady as well, that's a big part of your winning condition, or being able to help add new cards from your discard pile to your hand, all gone.
It's definitely something to keep note of, and it's something that s4iler's been using for a while with visions of the future. And with tramps and Nanis, there is a world that you might get down there. It's a small one. It's probably not going to happen, but it does allow him to know that he has a less of a chance to draw another one, so maybe that could impact some of the choices he makes later on.
Yeah, more information is always going to influence these players, especially when they're this good. And now on turn 3, I'm wondering if we're going to see the Lumiere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still not enough on board to sing next turn if we do find the Under the Sea, but s4iler will be able to find... We'll be able to go 4 cards deep if nothing is done about any of the characters on his side of the board.
Very true.
So if Michael was to just play some characters that could be Under the Seeable, and then s4iler draws the Under the Sea and shifts Lady, he could then Lullaby the Diablo and Under the Sea the whole board, and that could probably be a pretty solid position to be in. But not having a cat here or another 3-drop that's kind of a threat, and just playing a 1/4, that's not that scary at all.
Right. I think Michael does have more options in hand. I think he could have added more of those one-cost characters, but you would be very threatened by a potential Under the Sea, especially with no Lumiere in play. And we are going to quest this Diablo. That is a bit of a check there, because I believe there is a tramp that exists, I want to say, and now you will give up that Diablo. However, it will throw your tramp numbers off to be played here, the big tramp.
So if s4iler has the Lady as well, we can play the tramp, trade the Bobby with the Diablo, and then shift the Lady to get back the Bobby.
Yeah.
It would require us, though, to have to ink again. And these dog decks have kind of been like, I'm going to stop at 2 or 3 ink and then use these extra cards I'm not inking to be able to keep more of the more important cards off of a tramp. Which is also a consideration. We can play the 7-cost tramp for 3 right now. If we play the tramp for 1, we then get to play that tramp for also a cheaper, because every 1-drop you play basically maintains.
But
so
it does delay it a turn and would allow Michael to keep an additional turn to set up some threats. Is that something s4iler might be taking into consideration?
Well, he's only going up to 4, so s4iler doesn't have to worry too much outside of the possibility of a Tigger being played. And
he's taking the route you thought about. Sorry to interrupt.
And we glance through his deck list, and he does not actually play Tigger, so he doesn't really have to worry about anything until turn 5, and that's when Demonas and Headless Horsemen are coming into play. So my guess is he's going to build kind of a big board here. And then the turn before Elsa's or Headless happens, he's possibly going to exert everything. So that way, by the time a Demona could happen, it's not as impactful. Or maybe the turn before Demona or the turn before Elsa, then an Under the Sea is saying to limit the impact of those 5-drop and 6-drop cards that could be backbreaking for him.
And this is a powerful rebuttal, though. So we go tramp, small tramp, and then larger tramp to be able to send a ton of cards to your discard pile. And now you have this very threatening challenger. Oh, and by the way, these ladies look like they can quest quite heavy, and you are not in shift.
2 Lilos into, yep. That's huge, actually. Because those Lilos you'll be able to play straight from the discard. just added pressure that Sailor will be able to implement. And now we've used only one Bobby to take it out. Let's see, to take out the Diablo Watchful Raven.
But let's see what Sailor does here. Does he quest and gain this lore and run the risk of a Mulaning, or do you just pass? And I think pass is going to be the vibe that you have to go for. You cannot go into this Mulan. I believe Mulan is a shift
5.
She's shift 5. Okay, so you're not even there yet. So
That's another one of the insanely scary cards on turn 5.
Yeah.
Like that's 12 cards that Sailor needs to worry about on this next turn.
Back in the mind, it's filling up, dude. It's like actually prime real estate in the back of Sailor's mind right now. But this position looks quite good here. If I had to say so myself, as you have the ability to sing Under the Sea next turn, clear all these characters, and then start putting some serious lore on board. Oh, and if Michael were to go for a Genie or even go for an Elsa, you still have the ability to sing Under the Sea and clear that board and gain a tremendous amount of lore in your following turn.
But by far the scariest thing, I think, is that Mulan. Going Mulan and then into Demona, so you get to, like, trigger the Mulan again. Maybe that's the secret, that Ruby Amethyst players had not just been maxing out on Shift Mulan.
Yeah.
Do you see what's in his hand? Did you see the flash of what's in Sailor's hand? He's got 2 Triumph Street Smart Dogs.
Oh, man. So you can dig and look for that Under the Sea next turn. I think you're playing 4 copies of that card in your deck. You only hit 1.
And
so you got 14 cards to look for. I think you have a great opportunity to find it.
So we get to return 1 Lilo, which then makes the Tramp cost 1, and we get to keep 2 cards in hand.
Yeah.
And then we discard whatever we drew for turn, and then we could play the other Tramp to dig deeper if we're only looking for Under the Sea, which currently
because then it'll
we
be
don't need to
6
shrink.
Yep.
Michael, who is staring down his Oblivion now, who has been kind of doing numbers on dogs all day long. But here you are back against the wall, Palace Guard, getting a quest in. That's a great sight for Sailor to see, as Mulan is thinking about going on a quest too. I think that's a bit dangerous.
If this Mulan quest, Sailor is in a
feeling
fantastic
great.
spot. You just send that Tramp right into that, I think. You normally don't challenge, but to just guarantee that a Shift Mulan isn't going to hit you. It could also be that Michael is playing some mind games right now.
You think he might be bluffing?
It is his first event,
so he does turn
maybe
it sideways.
not. But I feel like Sailor has to do that. Michael's probably like, you have the Under the Sea. You just dug really deep. I know you have it.
See, this is the level of play. I would never think about the math of doing the using the Lilo, and then you could still play the Tramp, and then play the other Tramp for absolutely free.
And you get a big dig, too. And you can even find the Delamoon's Lullaby at this point and keep the Undersea and the Delamoon if you want to get real crafty with it and just clear the board. Looking at Michael's hand, it is, I believe you have maybe 2 or 3 cards in hand. So your resources are beginning to dwindle. Getting plus hard with an Under the Sea in this spot seems like almost insurmountable. But we saw this very similar thing happen in in the top 16 match, and Michael was able to claw back.
Also, both of these 1-drop ladies are going to quest for 3 because we're going to be adding 3 characters to play most likely.
Absolutely. So that's 6 lore right there just from them alone. Is there a world where we don't need Under the Sea right now because we would be able to challenge it out?
Yeah, I think we could just
challenge the Mulan, right?
Yeah, we just take out Mulan
and then
quest. And what is Michael going to do? Headless Horseman takes out 1 lady.
Yeah.
Pumps up the Royal Guard, which then takes out Lilo, and then Diablo takes out a lady, lets us ready up with 6 more lore.
What
Maybe
a storyline.
that might be enough. That's not a terrible play.
I don't hate it. And that might be what Sailor is about to do.
Oh,
we're doing it.
no.
We're doing it. We're doing it.
He says, no way.
It's happening.
No way. The Under the Sea is coming.
Oh, we're going to dig for it again as a
dig
free Tramp
again.
is down.
So you only have to keep 1 card because you play the Lullaby, which can draw. So he's gambling here that he can hit the Under the Sea, and I don't think he hit it.
Ooh.
But even if you don't,
your board
even
is
if you
still
don't, you can still challenge in.
You can still
quest everything out, and you're up to 8.
I still think that taking down that Mulan is probably going to be high priority number 1, and then quest everyone. And now Diablo's spiteful Raven won't be able to engage because he's under the effects of the Delamoon's Lullaby. We're digging 7, discarding 7, as I think still you send it here. I go full send on the quest.
So the issue is if it is a Headless Horseman, that doesn't actually fully shut off the Diablo, I think. because you headless, which takes out a character, which buffs the Diablo by 1. Then you use the Royal Guard to take out the Lilo, which buffs the Diablo back up to a 3/3, which then can take out a lady. So his play was just being like, I've got 3 more Under the Seas. I'm drawing a big chunk. I have a decent chance to hit the Under the Sea, and if I hit it, I wipe their whole board and I win the game on the spot.
But Michael's been putting his hand away. We have no idea what Michael has.
No,
He's the most.
He showed. He's got 2 genies, a Pilot's Guard, and a Lumiere.
So we don't actually have the Headless Horseman to do the most punishing play here, is what you're saying.
And
Yeah.
without Headless Horseman,
Right.
it's probably also almost over. We're seeing 2 more Lilos go into the discard. So, like, there's a World Sailor, just whatever he keeps, he inks. And then
Wow.
brings back 2. But he's probably doing something else that we shall see.
And just like that, we were talking about how he needed the crucial Under the Sea, but really Michael not really hitting a lot of the cards that he wanted for his earlier turns is coming back to bite him a little bit here as we quest up to, I believe, 8.
Yeah, that's a lot of lore, and this is a huge return fire on the next turn. So even if you are able to get through this board, there are still some mighty draws that Sailor can get. Even if you go Lilo, you can go double Lilo next turn, and then no, the lady still won't be strong enough. You go 1 Lilo, hopefully. Is there a way you can get 2 characters out, though? Maybe shift Lady? Will that do anything?
We don't know what the card he kept was. So he could do 1 Lilo, and if he kept a 1-drop, or a 2-drop and then draws an Inkable.
Or, yeah, this is
I don't know if we can get 3 characters out.
No, we can't. So those ladies won't be able to get to their full questing potential next turn.
Well, it
unless
could be
you
a tramp.
have a Tramp Enterprise
That's
dog.
right.
That's not bad. I mean, there's also a world where we keep Shift Lady, I'm assuming, Miss Park Avenue.
And also, if we just do 1 lady or 1 Lilo, the lady could then challenge the Royal Guard to get rid of it because it's going to have 3 damage on it from this Nani. Assuming there's not a cat possibly. We have Lumiere, we have Elsa. He's got choices, and how is he going to do it?
Michael in a rock and a hard place here. I mean, what makes this matchup so awesome to me is that it is such a lopsided deck choice. But everything else, right? Sailor got to be on the play, and he is the much more experienced player in this top cut. We are at the top 4. We are cutting to finals next, and then the winner of the CCQ will be announced after that. Wow.
And look at Sailor's face. He looks like he's been here a ton of times before. It seems like it's kind of I don't know if intimidation is the correct word to use, but there's definitely has to be some type of intimidation factor of wearing your World Championship shirt on stream. You're staring down this board. Triple Tramp is just messed up. I don't care what you're playing. I don't care Ruby Evans, what the matchup is. That's just a really messed up thing to do. And having them being played all in rapid succession like that is just you're not going to come through a lot of those. So Michael is staring down a position, maybe trying to find a way to get through it, and I just don't know what that is.
Yeah, normally when you play 1 Tramp, it tends to find more. But we did see 1 go to the bottom off of the Nani.
And he found the other 2. Kept them smartly, and now we're going to Elsa, and that does a little something, but how much of something?
You can clear 3 characters in this spot, which is decent, I suppose. You can clear the Nani with the Palace Guard. You can clear the Lady with the Diablo, and you can clear the Lilo, I suppose, with the Elsa, if that's what you want to do. But just getting as much lore off the board is probably going to be primary objective number 1. Elsa comes through, and let's see who Diablo elects to take down. And it's probably going to be one of those ladies.
Questing.
That's
interesting.
That's peculiar.
Okay.
What are we playing next turn? I think I might have taken a lady down.
I think so. I think you got to get the lore off the board, and
the threat of 3 lore from one of those ladies even is pretty crazy.
And he doesn't know that Tramp got sent to the bottom of that deck, so just a fear of another free trampage might be too much to bear. Even though I think you still had enough to play for free, as we're going to play another 1-cost character Diablo's weekend again, and the questing has continued as we're getting all these glimmers exerted. Tramp side by side,
getting up to 17, I believe.
Brutal. Ouch, baby.
Absolutely brutal. I mean, what do we do? This game's over. This game is over.
It's looking that way.
Oh, that's right. He couldn't challenge because of the Delamoon's Lullaby. I forget. We totally spaced on that because he did sing it on the last turn with the
That is fair.
So he was not able to challenge and clear anything. That's me. It's a long day. I need to lock in. I haven't had any coffee this morning.
We forgot about the lullaby because he missed the Under the Sea, and we're like, oh, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. So that was Fast and Furious. Wow. So that's how you do it, folks. Take notes. Maybe Sailor just put on an absolute class for everyone at home who might be watching of how you can get through the dogs or getting through the Ruby Amethyst while playing dogs. But what is now? We need to see what does Michael need to do to keep that same to get back into the driver's seat now.
I think he just needs to follow the game plan. That round felt like he was struggling with the draws he was getting.
Right.
Some of the decisions he was inking, it was like these are cards that you probably want later on. And I'm assuming because I didn't really ever get a full good look at Michael's hand in the early stages that maybe he was forced to make those decisions because of it. So to be fair,
yeah.
I mean, Sailor is an incredible player, but also I think Michael was not hitting exactly the cards that you want in the matchup.
Didn't have that Mulan.
Didn't have the Headless Horseman.
Yep, didn't have either of those to punish. Plays very well into being like, well, if you have the Under the Sea, I'm going to lose these anyways, so I'm just going to turn them sideways.
Agreed. A lot of great moves for a guy who's playing in his first big tournament ever.
Yeah.
And Sailor still was going into it. You know, he was just like, this is it. There could be a world that maybe you hold the Mulan back. You're like, you know what? Sailor's going to whiff, and my top card's going to be Mulan, and that's the only way I win this game.
Right.
And so you play into it, and sometimes it's just like, boom, off the top. You don't even look at the Mulan. You just, you know, I know you know this.
Yeah.
I know you know this. You just flip it because that's all that matters. It's the only thing that can be an out.
It's the one way.
Let's go for it. But, you know, he didn't do that, and he didn't flip the card. So, so good for him that he didn't take the gamble, right?
You got to do what you got to do out here. Yeah, I mean, Sailor could probably not have been any happier to see that Mulan turn sideways on that turn. I don't think it would have affected much. It had Michael kept it upright, but let's see how Michael changes the strategy around if Michael's able to get some of the more common curve, right, that we expect out of this Ruby Amethyst. I mean, you were talking about what? You were talking about Mulan turn 1. You're talking about turn 2 Diablo. You're talking about turn 3. I can't even remember. Cheshire Cat, turn 4 Tigger, right? Like, these are very strong plays. Oh, we don't have Tigger.
But what I'd like to see from Michael, I would like to just see a complete reset, decompression. Don't let what happened in the previous round carry over into this following round. You went up against one of the best players. You kind of got knocked down a peg or two, but here we are. You're still at the top table. You have to have a short-term memory. Stick to your flight plan, stick to your game plan, and maybe you can recover and get back into this thing. So it's definitely not over. You still have opportunities, as Sailor's going to try to do exactly what he did in the previous round.
And let's not forget here, Ruby Amethyst into dogs, especially without Chromacon. Very tough matchup to begin with. So Michael does have an inherent advantage. What you got to face, Luke?
There is one thing that this could be real bad for Michael on, and his current 4-drop that he kept in his hand was Iago.
Oh, Delamoon's Lullaby.
Exactly. So there is a world that he plays at Iago and Sailor just lullabies it, just completely skipping that turn for Michael, and that could be the thing that Sailor needs to get back. The other thing I noticed is he did ship away one Royal Guard, but he had another Royal Guard in his hand, meaning that once again he's starting the game off with not an opportune 1-drop, because that doesn't, like, what if Sailor opens on a Daisy? What is that Royal Guard doing? He better have a Diablo to back it up, and I didn't get to see if he had that or not, and so it's going to be really important on what to drop Michael has to follow up, because at Tinkerbell, you know, you could go turn 1 Tinkerbell, turn 2 Lumiere, and you can trade with that pesky Daisy.
I don't even know if he's playing the Tinkerbell in the deck. I think the Tinkerbell didn't make the cut. She's not here, but that's interesting. I thought she's one of the better ones. Looking at the 1-cost characters available, I believe we have the Mulan, and we have the Olaf, and we also have the Palace Guard, man. So I don't think you have access to that Tinkerbell, which is, I think I like Tinkerbell. Maybe that 1 willpower is enough, but you did have to make room for those Christopher Robinson. I think that's probably the card that fell for that deck switch.
It's not my place to tell the person who is playing in the top 4 that he did not build his deck right. Because I would have put Tinkerbell in, but I'm interested to know why he didn't, and I think the reason is the Mulan, and that's probably what pushed him through. Is most people are playing the Tinkerbell. He's like, no, I want this Mulan to answer dogs, and I want this small Mulan. They cannot, like, how is Sailor supposed to interact with that? He cannot unless you exert it yourself. And sure, it's not as powerful against some of the Amethyst and Sapphire decks, possibly, but sometimes they might think you're only playing it for Cat.
Yeah.
And not even play around the shift, and you just win the game. You're like, oh, nice evasives. I'll take out this character and shoot both of them for 5.
Yeah, that elite archer, phenomenal at doing her job. We'll see. I love the friendliness of the players here, a little bit of chatting in between. Always love to see that sportsmanship. I'm rooting for a game 3, guys.
Same.
I don't know about you.
I always.
I want the game to go as long as possible.
That's 2 lullabies in his hand.
And in Under the Sea, so Sailor's already kind of got it here.
I'm always going to be rooting for a game 3. And think about also another a good thing.
Right to the inkwell.
There is no
Smart.
There's really no way to slow Sailor down with these songs. There's like no Ursula, no Mowgli type effects to be able to engage with this Delamoon's Lullaby or the Under the Sea. So once you have it, you're pretty much going to play it eventually, or sooner or later, unless you can stop the singing capability from Sailor.
And Sailor also inked that lullaby, deploying a lady here, trying to do the same thing as last game. And after seeing Michael ink the Iago, he's like, I might not need this backup copy. We're going to see, though, if Michael ends up inking the other Iago, or if he's keeping it for some tempo here. Like, Iago into Elsa is pretty good, and we see that Cat sitting there in his hand. He has curve. He just needs a top deck inkables to play it.
And it just looks like Michael's just gearing up to Quest as well. He's not really going to be worried about dealing with the opposition board. It seems like he's ready to put characters down, get them exerted, and try to just win this thing aggro style, just playing to the curve, like you said, Luke, and just questing aggressively. So Sailor now is going to find himself more in the controlling defensive posture until you can maybe manage to take that initiative on the draw and get back into the driver's seat.
I'm interested to see if Sailor decides to keep the Under the Sea this time.
He did. Oh, instead of picking it with Bobby, yeah. I think he has to.
Wow, what is different? I wonder.
He doesn't have the tramp.
It's almost the exact same. Oh, that would make a lot of sense. You don't want to keep that tramp enterprising dog back in your hand so that you can challenge in Bobby with the Diablo?
This tells me that he does not have Shift Lady.
Right.
And this tells me that he does not have Big Tramp. And so this way he's trying to develop his singers. Or, actually, if he has the Shift... if he has Shift Lady here, next turn he's lullabying, singing Under the Sea, wiping the board most likely, or at least 2 of the characters.
Yeah, Shift Lady, sing Under the Sea. That is an absolute. And that's also would explain why you want to put that tramp in to get that 3 singing capability down. And there's no way to engage with that this early on in the game, as we are going to bring out that Cheshire Cat. So you will possibly keep at least 1 character around while you get 3 more lore added to the score. Sailor now has that play. If you got it, Luke, you got it, but you won't have any value. Or you get the Rhino back.
I don't think
from
he
your
had
Shift.
Shift Lady.
But I think he just drew it.
Did he just? I think he did too. This is going to be backbreaking if he drew into it. Oh, okay. Okay, that would have been absolutely insane.
That is a tramp?
That is a tramp. And one lucky point, by the way, also that Sailor dodged the Mulan early is that Cheshire Cat would be able to utilize the Mulan, the damage on the Mulan to take something out and take away the singing power of Sailor. But he has dodged that at least.
So with that singer,
yeah,
if that is the Lady 5 and not another Lady 1 in hand, we can play the tramp.
Oh, it is Lady.
Pump up the Bobby, take out the Diablo if it's questing again.
Yeah.
Which it might not because of Nani. And then shift, get back the tramp, get back the Rhino, sing Under the Sea.
He could just be trying to. He could be trying to just get as much value out of that Under the Sea as possible, because you do have full combo in hand. And can you imagine a second copy of Delamoon's Lullaby as well? That's another option that you can get, waiting for that to come through, as we are going to put that Iago down. So perfect Delamoon's Lullaby target has just hit the board. Probably more so than the Diablo, I would say, just because it's a bigger threat, and you just clear it right away. So the patience of Sailor, I think, showing some starting to pay off a bit, as you are adding more characters to the board to be able to be removed here in this spot.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice because Cat is scary, but you just can't stop the Iago. We inked one Lullaby, and we put one Lullaby on the bottom of the deck with a Nani, and we have one in hand. So we only have one more we can get to. We do not have a Tramp yet to try to even dig for it. So it's an interesting spot where do we just leave our opponent? Like, are we just playing Under the Sea here for one character?
I don't
Well, we
know.
could Della's Moon Lullaby
Rhino.
Cheshire Cat.
Or I'd Delamoon Lullaby the Iago and just straight up.
We
pass.
have the Rhino in discard, though, so we could shift Lady, get back Rhino, ink, play Rhino, shrink the cat, sing Lullaby,
Onto the Iago.
Pop
and
him,
then
yeah.
leave them with just a Diablo if we need to.
Wow, that might be actually exactly what we see. And Sailor will be able to get back another card here. So if it is ink, then exactly what you just described can transpire here. Oh, and he has more cards.
Well, he gets to draw one card off of this Lullaby.
Yep. He has
I mean,
more
what if
cards in hand than I thought. Sorry.
He might not even go for the Under the Sea. He might just leave the Tramp here to get eaten, and then he can shift Lady and get back. But, oh.
No, he got another shift Lady, I believe, off that draw. So he can play this. He can ink something. He can play the Rhino, hit the
Ink Rhino, play Rhino.
Yep. Ink Rhino, play Rhino onto the Cheshire Cat. And now we just sing with two, and then we can even quest out the Bobby. Like, this is insane.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Wait,
what?
he put the Under the Sea on the bottom of his deck on accident.
Who did?
Sailor did.
Okay, so I'm sure they're going to catch that immediately. If not, we can go over there and get that resolved. I don't know if it matters as much because there are going to be. I don't think there's any. It should come up if you can.
Yeah,
if we can get that done. But what an incredible turn coming in from Sailor as he now has a massive board established, and this is again looking super daunting. This is the moment that you needed to completely take over and be in a commanding driver's position.
He's laughing. He's like, "Whoops!"
That's so That's so funny. Hey, the best of us, okay? to the best, everyone can make mistakes. Again, that was completely innocuous. Thank you so much, Brent, for running over there and getting that done.
No problem. I know. you could tell the exact conversation from the hands of the face. Yeah.
When you turn, I assume you turned and walked. He just like laughed and laughed.
Yeah. He was like, "Oh no, it's Under the Sea. He's supposed to put," and I was like, "No, your Under the Sea is under your deck." He goes, "Oh."
That's hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, any level. If Worlds qualified players can be making a mistake like that, anybody can.
Exactly.
Don't be too tough on yourself out there, folks.
Yeah, love yourself. But Michael is still in a conundrum now. After that very powerful play coming in from Sailor, you have that Elsa, which is a pretty decent crackback, but you can't really clear anything. You need to get to those Lumieres early. You never found them, and I think that is going to be the story of your tournament as you are going to send the Elsa down now, clearing probably that Bobby or that Rhino. It doesn't matter because the questing will commence next turn. Taking two characters here is still critically important, but, man, what a freaking turn from Sailor last round. That was some expert navigation of how to get the most out of this deck.
And listen up, even if he takes out a bunch of the characters this turn, Sailor has another Miss Park Avenue in hand. Will be able to play that down and recur the cards from the discard.
Yeah. And just keeping that engine rolling. This is keeping value in hand, adding more threats to the board. Michael now running low on resources. This is looking almost insurmountable for the Amethyst.
No challenge on the Diablo?
So he just has the vibe check. He's like, oh, you've got another lady. And he didn't want to trade with Nani. That was like another play. You trade with Nani, then he can't get back. He can't get it back with Lady because it costs 3.
Rocking a hard place again, I guess. But now Sailor will be able to quest out. He's only at 1, but this turn he has the potential to get up to, another 5 to get to 6?
Imagine if that Elsa was a headless. We take out a character, buff the Diablo, and let it trade with the Lady.
Yeah. We haven't seen. I don't think we've seen. We haven't seen any Headless Horseman coming in from Michael just yet. We haven't seen any of your groovy cards you need in this matchup. I was talking so highly on it, but Sailor is making it look like it is just not an issue at all. So maybe if you're watching this, we're talking about changing information for Ghent. Dog or Ruby Amethyst might be coming off of that list exponentially after seeing what's happening here. No Chromacon required.
I mean, You have one of the best players in the world playing one of the best decks in the world, playing a version that most people have not played up against yet, ready to drawing insanely well while you are drawing the wrong copies of the cards on your curve up. We did look at Michael's starting hand, and we had said it like, this seems like an okay and a decent curve. But then Sailor's like, I can sing Under the Sea on turn 3, and you need to respect that. And the process of respecting it allowed the game to slow down for then Sailor to say, I have everything, so like I'm going to try to win right here. Do you have Headless Horseman to even slow me down? You don't.
And just like, so everything you just did really didn't do anything
for that.
It's because
Grandmother Willow.
Yeah, Grandmother Willow is still one of the best cards coming out of Winterspell set. I mean, it's on the board now, getting a discount of all of your characters, not just the smaller ones, as the Nani gets through the Diablo. And this is just where the questing can start. And this is the exact opposite position that Michael wants to find himself in this late game. Sailor now climbing the lore total, getting all the way up to 11 with a lady in reserve and a nice full bouquet of cards. Man, this is a tough spot.
Oh, and we're going to we could deploy a Daisy here to just like push it through, and I think that's what we might be doing here. The question is are we inking this Tramp or this Bobby? And it looks like he might be going for Bobby. He might even play the Bobby, but I'm assuming he wants that extra 2-lore threat in play. Oh, inking the Tramp so then he can draw this card. Like, what if he draws Lilo next turn? You can just get extra value there.
Right. And I mean, something that now it's Michael that has to consider also the threats of a Go-Go Tamago straight off the top there.
Yeah.
I mean, now
true.
Michael has a lot in the back of his head. Sailor looks like all the thinking's at the front of his head this turn now.
Yeah, Sailor's back of head thought real estate has now started to empty while Michael's is beginning to fill rapidly. And this spot is just grotesque.
Yet look at Sailor, man. He is in it. He is focused. He is thinking. This is a man who is considering different play lines, who's trying to figure out exactly what Michael might have right now, all the different permutations here. I mean,
yeah.
You know, right now Sailor is just looking at Grandmother Willow, and he's thinking, you are the lantern of my eye.
A lot of people think of Sailor as the Ruby Sapphire guy, and surely he was that. But if I'm not mistaken, he was first an Amber Steel Songs guy.
Yeah,
with the lanterns.
We would chit-chat quite a bit about that because he would hang out in my stream because he also played Amber Steel.
Oh.
And so we both played it all the time, and that's where our friendship actually first developed.
I love it.
Right on, man. Look
We're
at that.
at heart Amber Steel brothers.
The lore. Well, all right. What can Michael do here other than Headless Horseman?
You just keep
challenging. Keep challenging in and
I mean, you got to keep challenging and hoping. I mean, your lore is not anywhere near high enough to start threatening anything. Genie is just the absolute opposite of what you could ever want to see.
Not what you need, and
we
it's
do have
tough.
Lumiere, but still not fan. Like, you don't want to be.
I mean,
playing
you got to
Genie.
trade the Dumbo. So you'd have to ink something, play the Lumiere, trade the Dumbo with the Lady Miss Park Avenue to get 2 lore off, and then use the Elsa to challenge into one of the.
Yeah.
It's just rough. You could take out the Tramp, I guess, because if Lumiere is there, but.
And we didn't have the other inkable to be able to play the Lumiere, or at least an inkable that we didn't want for the next turn instead.
Yeah, you don't want to be inking that Lumiere there, but again, Michael has no choice here. The draws are not coming Michael's way, and it looks like Sailor is going to ride this all the way to victory.
And like you said, that Go-Go is still imminent. It is a realistic threat. You can't have a Go-Go walk-off. The rare and indigenous, we don't have it in hand. We got Bobby Zimmerowski who can look for it. Let's see if Sailor is a gambling man, and it appears to be.
Oh, we're just playing it. It's like we could use the value from it, but it also just exerts to win the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just put yourself up to the win.
And he's doing
He's
a little
quick math.
to make sure you can't stop me, and the questing goes in. That is pretty much check and or mate, or just leaves a check, pass back on over to Michael.
Let's make sure they're hitting that Daisy trigger. There we go.
Better late. Not better late than anything.
What if he Cogsworths? Which is not
what if he Cogsworths? That'll be 2 damage because she doesn't have the shift line.
No, she doesn't need to shift it. Hers is when she comes into play.
Right, but she's only a 2 strength character unless she shifts.
No. It's the turn she comes into play, she gets the plus. You don't have to shift her to get the plus.
Oh.
It's just that you normally have to shift her because she doesn't
I
have
have
rush.
mistaken this
She
card.
doesn't have rush.
Gotcha.
So most
That's why
people
you
have
need
to
the
shift.
Cogsworth.
Yes. Yeah,
but it's not in the
exactly.
deck, unfortunately, and I think we're circling around the same thing here as Michael is fanning through the last few of his cards here in what looks to be the last few moments of what, might I just say, as his first big tournament is an incredible run to top 4.
Absolutely.
I mean, shout outs and the flowers to Michael. Sorry about that, JDZ.
No, absolutely. I'm very impressed with his poise and how he's composed himself in this situation. Granted, you didn't get the cards that you need. Your deck is designed to do a certain thing. You just weren't able to do that. Unfortunate for you, but you weren't. You're staying composed. Your posture didn't indicate that you were feeling like frustrated anyway, and you still, you did your very best that you could, and I think you have to keep your head held high. Get into a top 4 in your first event. I think that's nothing to sneeze at, as you are still trying to, maybe you can find a line to get through this, but this is looking like a cumbersome spot. But you went up against one of the best, and you did not come out, you came out very scathed in this one, but it is something you can learn from as the handshake goes out.
And I just want to quickly clarify that, no, apparently you do have to shift the Mulan.
You do have to
so
shift
I
the
probably, in some fun casual games with friends, cheated and not realized it. Cogsworth Mulan deck back on the shelf.
All those Mulan decks that you kept on testing. Yep, all those hours into the Mulan.
Wasted on the Mulan shift.
You thought she was a more elite archer than she actually was. Yeah.